Start recording, inshallah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursaleen. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Wa ala man tabi'a hudahum ila yawmiddin. Indeed, all praise is due to Allah, and may peace and blessings be upon His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. As everybody knows, that tonight is the last night of Qiyam and the last night of Ramadan. Tomorrow is the last day. So tomorrow's night there is no Qiyam. It will be the night of the Eid. And staying for Qiyam for the night of the Eid is a bid'ah, and it is against the Sunnah. And the hadith which says, "Man ahya laylat al-Eidain," that is the one who revives the Sunnah of making Qiyam during the Eid nights, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would revive his heart. This is a fabricated hadith. So any hadith which talks about the revival or the sunnah of staying for Qiyam during the nights that precedes the day of the Eid, is all of those texts are not confirmed. They are fabricated. And any Eid, the night would before it would be a preparation for that. For example, the day of Arafah is a Eid for the Hujjaj. So the night before it is not a night of Qiyam. The day of the normal two Eids, also there are Eids, so the night before it, there is no Qiyam. The Jumu'ah is a Eid for every week, and there is no Qiyam the night before. So all the nights that precedes the Eids, they are supposed to be a relaxation nights. They're not supposed to be nights for specifying Qiyam. And making ihya of the nights is not correct. So basically, if the person does his witr like he normally does, is no problem. Let's say his witr is long, he will stay the same. But I'm talking the night, the Qiyam that you have specified, which is the longer one, and the Jama'ah one that you do Jama'ah normally, that is only for those nights of Ramadan, and it's not to be done in any way or form by specification in other nights. So we cannot, for example, make a Jama'ah Qiyam in another night, unless it's rarely. If it happens, like for example, for teaching purposes, that the teacher had made a lecture and it extended after the Isha, and he wanted to show them the voluntary prayer, that is teaching purposes, is no problem. But to make it like everybody, there is a Qiyam for the Shaykh tonight, as the Sufis they do, that's not being confirmed by the Prophet ﷺ, nor is being practiced by the companions. May Allah be pleased with them. If the Qiyam in Jama'ah had happened in a way which is not being prepared pre-hand, like the Prophet of Allah used to do his Qiyam, and Hudayfa ibn Yaman, he comes and sees him and he catches up with him. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud as well, one day he saw the Prophet ﷺ and he caught up with him. And also Abdullah ibn Abbas. So we got Hudayfa, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Abdullah ibn Abbas. But that was not the case of that he called Hudayfa or called Abdullah ibn Mas'ud or he called Abdullah ibn Abbas and he told them, I'm going to be doing Qiyam, so let's make a Jama'ah. That was not the case, but it's only for the Qiyam of Ramadan. طيب, Alhamdulillah, now we established the fact that tonight is the last night for that Qiyam, which is the Qiyam of Ramadan. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us the Salah, the Qiyam, and the Quran, and the Dua, and the Dhikr of Allah, and all types of Ibadah. And I would like to remind myself and the brothers and the sisters who are listening, remember that the night of Al-Qadr, the Ibadah which is being specified for it, is the Qiyam. So when we say that the night of Al-Qadr, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had said, it is better than 1,000 nights, it doesn't mean that if I give a charity, or I do a good act, or I go and visit my neighbors, or I go and pay a respect to my dad and my mother, or I give, for example, money to the masjid or so on and so forth, that money will multiply in a way which is equivalent to a 1,000 months. That's not correct. So paying £1, it would be equivalent to 30,000 pounds, as somebody been doing calculation here. It's not correct. The qiyam which is mentioned is the qiyam which is in the hadith, talking about the prayer, talking about the dua, talking about the recitation of the Quran, talking about the we said the dua. So the qiyam, which is the salah, and not any salah. It has to be the salah of the tarawih. So there's no specification of salat al-shukr or salat al-hajah, which is not being confirmed, both of them. Or salat al-tasabih, which is, according to our Shaykh al-Albani, is being confirmed. But you can't specify the nights of al-Qadr for that particular ibadah, for that particular salah. Also, doing dua, mashallah, good. Citation of the Quran, mashallah. So, dhikr of Allah, the last one, those are the things that you do in that night of al-Qadr. And the Prophet ﷺ, in one occasion, he emphasized the fact that the month of Ramadan, whole of it, is a month for a person to have repentance, to secure himself a pardoning from the Lord, the Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And if he did not do so, what a loser he is. Which is the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. The Prophet ﷺ, when they climbed the pulpit, and there was 3 steps, and it is the case, steps of the Prophet ﷺ's pulpit is to be 3, not more than that. It's not a skyscrapers as we can see in some of the masajid in Turkey and other masajid as well, other countries. 3 steps. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said in each step, Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. He's like talking to someone. Companion heard the Ameen. When the Prophet ﷺ finished the khutbah and he descended the pulpit, they asked him, Messenger of Allah, what is that Ameen all about? What's the story behind? He said, Jibreel salam came to me. That means he came to the Prophet of Allah in a way that only the Prophet of Allah can see him. And he talked to the Prophet of Allah in a way that only the Prophet of Allah can hear him. And he said to him the following: he who lives to witness Ramadan, yet he did not secure himself a pardoning, then what a loser he is. May his nose be smeared in the dust. This is an expression in the Arab that means what a loser you are. Another narration is that bu'dallah, Allah will put him far off from the blessings of his. So he would, get to Ramadan, live in Ramadan, yet he did not grab the opportunity and secure himself a pardoning from the Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second one, he who lived to see both of his parents or one of them. That means he stays alive and one of them or both of them are alive. Yet he does not secure himself a pardoning by being righteous to them. What a loser he is. May his nose be smeared in the dust. Or another narration that Allah Azza wa Jalla dismisses him away from Jannah, from blessings. So may Allah dismiss him away. Say Ameen. So the Prophet said Ameen. In the first one as well, Jibreel salam, he said to the Prophet of Allah, say Ameen. So the Prophet of Allah said Ameen. So here we find the best of the angels commanding the Prophet ﷺ to say Ameen, and the best of mankind, not to say the best of everything, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ saying Ameen. So one person, can I just ask the co-host please to look at the videos which have been opened, Jazakumullah khair. Please pay attention. So here we find that the Prophet ﷺ saying, oh Allah, granted, on a dua that Jibreel salam had said it. Last one, which is the last step, Jibreel salam, he said, he whom your name is mentioned before him, yet he does not pass salutation upon you, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah dismiss him away, or may his nose be smeared in the dust. Say Ameen. So the Prophet said Ameen. Oh Allah, granted. So we have the supplication from Jibreel salam and the response from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that means it's almost been fulfilled. So the month of Ramadan is not finished yet. We have this still tonight. Even for those who had fallen short, still we said to you, got tonight. And we're going to inshallah talk about the Zakat al-Fitr in a minute. So make sure that you're not losing the last moments of the month of Ramadan. As for I've declared that is on Ahad, I've already known from about 6 hours before from brothers who are in Indonesia. Indonesia is in the east, so they will know. The first people will know because the sun comes from the east. So they have already told me 6 hours ago that been sent a message that it's been declared that Yawm al-Sabt, Saturday, is to be the 30th of Ramadan. And the Eid, inshallah, will be the day. So I knew already it's going to be 30 days. Well, if it was a Sabt is the Eid, then the people who are, I don't know, fasted a day after us, because if you look at some of the masajid, or especially from the Braillery backgrounds, they fasted a day after. Fasted, I think, on a Sabt, we fasted on Jumu'ah. So if we have broken the fast on the Sabt, this one, and Eid is our Sabt, that means they will be in fasting 28 days, not 29 days. By this, that means, so I believe that even if their Eid is going to be on Monday, they will make their Eid with us, those people. Because I had experience in some of the masajid, our masjid in High Wycombe, when we have our Eid a day before those people, and they've already fasted their 29 days, they will break their fast with us, and our masjid will get full. We wonder why it's full. Then we will find out because our Eid is one day earlier than them, and these guys are the youth, especially the youth, they don't want to stay for another day, even though they call us Wahhabis and followers of Saudi Arabia and all of that. But when it comes to ease and making comfort, they will, compromise their deen, subhanAllah. طيب. Now we come to something which is important, which is Zakat al-Fitr. Zakat al-Fitr is a zakah which is linked to al-Fitr. Al-Fitr, breaking the fast, which is of Ramadan. Also, it is called Sadaqat al-Fitr. So the two names are mentioned in the text, Zakat al-Fitr and Sadaqat al-Fitr. And it's being called Sadaqat al-Fitr because it's a giving that is in the Fitr, which is you are intending to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you give it to the people who deserve it in the right time and with a willing, soul and intention, then this would show that this person is genuinely seeking for the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it was called as well zakah, because if you have given it sincerely to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will make tazkiyah. Tazkiyah means purification of the soul. And it will purify it from all these dirts, whether it is our dirts to do with the dirts of the shirk, or the dirts of the sins and all of that. And also it will complete the deficiency in the person. That's why it's called zakah. So this is sadaqah, تُطَهِّرُهُمْ بِهَا, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told the Prophet to take sadaqah, وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا. That is to make it tazkiyah. Tazkiyah means purification. And when you say zakatul fitri, because you are attributing the zakat to the why it is being taken, al-fitr, which is breaking the fast. For the reason of the existence of the zakah, of the sadaqah, is the fitr, which is of Ramadan, after we have finished the month of Ramadan by citing the present of, that is, the Ramadan, that sadaqat al-fitr will start. So it is being added to that sadaqat al-fitr, zakat al-fitr. When was it legislated? It was legislated at the same time that Ramadan was made to be obligatory, which is the second year after Hijrah. And the text which indicated the zakat al-fitr, sadaqat al-fitr, and the legalization of it is the Quran and the Sunnah, and also, which is the Quran in general, the clear Sunnah, explicit Sunnah, and also the consensus of the companions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. That is, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ, he's successful. تَزَكَّى, the one who purifies himself. So each person who had purified himself by the sadaqah, by the zakah, is successful. And Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah, whom they call him the fifth Khalifa, which I have as well my sort of, I would say, not really objection regarding calling him the fifth Khalifa, because you are bridging over Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan radiallahu anhu. Umar ibn Aziz, who is his Khilafah is like an extension of the Khilafah al-Rashida. He used to command the Zakat al-Fitr and also at the same time reciting that verse. قد أفلح من تزكى in Surah Al-A'la. قد أفلح من تزكى. Ikrimah rahimahullah, one of the exegetes, the ones who they interpret the Quran, he said regarding this ayah, he said, this ayah talking about the zakah that the person gives, which is before his Salat al-Eid. So it is zakat al-Eid. And this is how, as well, so many Salaf from the predecessors had said that this ayah, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى, it talks about sadaqat al-fitr. So this is the general text from the Quran. As for the hadith, it mentions explicitly as well. So also we find hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, which is from Ibn Khuzaymah, which is talking about this verse and also talking about zakat al-fitr, is that underneath which is sadaqat al-fitr. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةِ. We have from that some of the we have some of the Sahaba said وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةِ includes zakat al-fitr. Prophet ﷺ, he said, Farad. Prophet ﷺ, Farada, he had, as a companion has said, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Umar and others, Farada, that means he obligated the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam zakat al-fitr, the sadaqat al-fitr. So we have explicit sunnah, general Quran. We do have as well the consensus of the companions. Now the rulings of it, it is compulsory. So the legalization is being legislated. We said the general Quran and the explicit sunnah and the ijma', but its ruling, it's compulsory. And this is consensus. Ibn al-Mundhir had said this consensus, and also Ishaq had said this is like consensus. We could see that enough as a proof to see that this sadaqat fitr is a obligation is that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, their expression, how they interpreted the Prophet's command by saying farada Rasulullah sallallahu. Farada means fard. Fard means compulsory. So they interpreted the sayings of the Prophet and the expression of the Prophet regarding sadaqat al-fitr as to be fard. Farada Rasulullah zakat al-fitr. Farada Rasulullah sadaqat al-fitr. What is the reason for its legislation? What is the hikmah? Now, it is not from the good thing always to ask what is the hikmah of, what is the hikmah of, because all our legislated obligations and sunnah in the sharia, in the deen, has a hikmah, whether we know it or we don't know it. When we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we believe it. Allah Azza wa Jal, whatever He obligates us to do and whatever He prohibits us from doing is all the time going to pour into our maslahah, into our benefit. عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ خَيْرٌ. Prophet is remarkable, the case of the believer. All his affair is to be good, regardless what is his affair. Good or bad, is to be good for him. Calamity befalls him, is good for him. Prosperity gets him, it's good for him. So when he's in prosperity, he expresses gratitude to the Almighty. When he's a calamity, then he would endure that patiently. In both cases, it's good for him. And this is exclusively for the believer. So the hikmah that we could see here from the hadith of the Prophet, just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the main hikmah of the siyam, which is a taqwa, also the Prophet, he gave us the hikmah, which is طُحْرَةً لِلصَّائِمِ مِنَ اللَّغْوِ وَالرَّفْثِ وَطُعْمَةٌ لِلْمَسَاكِينِ. طُحْرَةٌ لِلطَّائِمِ, that is purification for the fasting person, and also it is food for the poor people. Now when we say purification for the fasting person, purification is from what affects, the fast and maybe decrease the reward of the fast. And for example, from the indecent speech or the idle speech or the chit chat, which is not really going to get you except for sins and all of that. So this is basically to compensate for that deficiency and complete your reward and upgrade your righteous good deed. And this is the purification. And also it is sympathizing with those who are in need by giving them the food and giving them enough to make them sufficient and self-sufficient on that day. Okay, and you don't have to ask and beg on the day of the Eid. So Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, "Farada Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made an obligatory zakat al-fitr. The zakat al-fitr, قال طهرة للصائم من اللغو والرفث, and that is to purification for the fasting person from the indecent speech. قال وطعمة للمساكين, and also food for the poor people. And this is narrated by Abu Dawood and Al-Hakim and others. Also from the hikam of the Sadaqat al-Fitr, you express as well the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by completing the month of Ramadan. And Allah Azza wa Jal made it easy for you as well, facilitated for you the fast and the qiyam. So, and also doing other acts of good deeds like Quran, dhikr of Allah, dua, all that facilitation. You need to basically express your gratitude to the Almighty for that. And by paying Sadaqat al-Fitr, that would as well include such expression. Also, Sadaqat al-Fitr, it would spread the love and the affection in the society. It makes it really stronger. When we find that poor people look at the rich, they are concerned about them. They could see that the rich are sympathizing with them and they are helping with them. So that would bond the society. So that's why another hikmah for the Sadaqat al-Fitr. And I know for the fact that the poor people, the very poor people, they wait for that, the last days of Ramadan, because they could see the cooperation and the help between the Muslims to help them. So they come in contact with the rich people, upon whom Sadaqat al-Fitr is compulsory. Sadaqat al-Fitr is compulsory upon every Muslim, whether he's a male or a female, whether he's slave or he is a free man, whether he is young or whether he is old. So by this definition, we say that whether he is as well residing in the Medina or outside the Medina, whether he's in the village or the rural areas, the urban areas. So this is ijma' by the Muslims, the Salaf as well, that some of the Salaf, they used to bring the Zakat al-Fitr for the baby who's in the womb. But the correct opinion is that it is not compulsory. But if you want to express your gratitude for the Almighty that Allah provided you a baby, and this baby is not yet due, and hasn't been born before the sunset of tomorrow, okay, that is the last day of Ramadan, and you want to express your gratitude to the Almighty, you pay Zakat al-Fitr on behalf of the child, the baby, there's no problem. But it's not compulsory. Compulsory upon each person who's alive. So if that baby was born before the sunset of the last day, which is tomorrow now for this Ramadan, then Zakat al-Fitr is compulsory upon you to pay. But if he was born after that, then there is no Sadaqat al-Fitr. And as a joke, I would say that make sure that your wife will give birth after sunset tomorrow. طيب, the Sadaqat al-Fitr, it is, as Abdullah ibn Umar, he said that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, فرض رسول الله زكاة الفطر. Prophet ﷺ obligated Zakat al-Fitr صاعا من تمر. صاع, we're going to explain what is the صاع when it comes. صاعا من شعير. صاع من okay, صاع من العبد, and then he said صاع on free and slave, and male and female, young and old from the Muslims. So if you had a son or a father who you spend upon him, or a mother or a daughter who's not a Muslim, you don't pay Sadaqat al-Fitr on them. God forbid, of course. But I'm just saying, let's say that your wife, she's Christian, she's not a Muslim. Okay? Even if she fasts along with me and I will not give Sadaqat al-Fitr. It has to be Muslim. So Zakat al-Fitr is compulsory upon Muslim. And it's to be given to a Muslim. Not like the normal zakah or the normal sadaqat. Normal zakah, there is a category of the zakah, which is al-mu'allafa qulubuhum, the one we want to soften their hearts. This is from the non-believers as well, or a person who entered Islam recently. So you can give it to a disbeliever to want to enter Islam as well, before he enters Islam, or even a disbeliever whom you want to gain his sympathy with the Muslims because he's a mighty head person in his community. He would protect the Muslims from his, protect us from his people. So we give him that from the zakat. And also the normal sadaqat, as the mother of Asma bint Abi Bakr, her mother, okay, she was not, so she came to Asma radiallahu anha, the mother of one of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu. Her name is Qatila, and she was a disbeliever, and she asked the Prophet sallallahu, shall I give her from the sadaqah? He said, Sili ummati, give her from the sadaqah. طيب. Now, so we know that, alhamdulillah, this hadith is Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, telling us that the Zakat al-Fitr is compulsory upon the category which I mentioned. Now, basically Zakat al-Fitr is to be given from the rich person. Rich here is not the rich which is the one who's got the threshold of got their money and the silver, the gold, which is above 85 grams of the pure gold. No, this here means a rich is the person who has his food and then surplus, which is more than his day and night. That is more than a sa'. So he's got a sa' or more on top of what he has for his food of the day or the night. So if he had his food for the day or the night for his family, and he had an extra sa', then Zakat al-Fitr will be compulsory for him to be given. So look at this now. If I give my Sadaqat al-Fitr to the poor people, okay, and they became rich with that, they give Sadaqat al-Fitr to others as well. Because they will have enough food, mashallah. And they may know other people who are poorer than them. They will give Sadaqat al-Fitr. So these are the ones who can't give Sadaqat al-Fitr is the one who can't have any extra food apart from the food of his day and night. As for the one who pays it, is the one who's in charge of the family. So if you have orphan who you are looking after them, they don't belong to you, but you take in the custody. So the Zakat al-Fitr will be from their own money, if they have money. Also, if you are taking in custody people who are mentally ill, you take Zakat al-Fitr from their money. But if they didn't have money, then the Zakat al-Fitr will be incumbent upon the person who's in charge, the wali of theirs. He has to pay Zakat al-Fitr on their behalf. Even if you have to pay Zakat al-Fitr on your servant, if he's your slave or your servant, that he's with you, you pay Zakat al-Fitr on his behalf. Unless the servant, he takes a salary, then he's independent, he will pay Zakat al-Fitr on himself and his own family. Because the Prophet he said, Addu Zakat al-Fitri amman tamunun. Pay Zakat al-Fitr on behalf of those whom you are responsible for spending onto them. So they are under your umbrella. What type of food I should give in Sadaqat al-Fitr? And am I allowed to give money? Okay. What type of food? The Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith, where he said, he said, Sa'an min ta'am. Ta'am, food. This food here is the one which is to be stored for a long time. He mentioned tamr, dates, and sha'ir, barley. And also he mentioned zabib, that is raisins, the dry grapes, raisins. Also another hadith he mentioned al-aqib, the curd, the dry cheese which stays for a long time. So the scholars here differed, we stick to this one exactly, or we could give anything which is similar to those food, which is, because he said ta'am, the Prophet ﷺ. The correct opinion is the opinion of the scholars who are the majority. Also Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah is along with him, rahimahullah, where he said Sadaqat al-Fitr is the one which is from the food of the people. So we have, for example, in that hadith, barley. Barley, I don't know if you know barley or not, is where the beer is made of, barley. In some of the countries, barley is not food. Barley, they give it to the animals to eat it. So if you give it to somebody who is a poor there, he will throw it because it's not beneficial to him. So we're not supposed to give him barley. We're supposed to give him from the food, which is, we call it qut ahl al-balad, the food that belongs to that community. And that's the correct opinion. Because the Prophet said, "Ughnuhum fi hada al-yawmi 'ala at-tawaf." Make sure that they make them self-sufficient on that day from begging and asking people. So if you give them barley, okay, they can stop. They don't ask for rice. So I could see the rice is the food of most of the Muslim countries, not to say all of them. Rice, lentil, food that doesn't need fridges, because you don't expect the poor people have to have fridges or freezers or big freezers. Going to give them, for example, vegetables or meat for big quantities. They're going to be thrown and not used. So it has to be the food that can be stored. Raisins. Abdullah ibn Umar, he used to give all the time the best. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ بِهِ عَلِيمٌ. لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ, you will not gain the birr, righteousness, until you spend from what you love. That means the best of your money. So when you get to Zakat al-Fitr, why do you go to the cheapest? So if you have, it's not that much. So somebody's asking for £3, somebody's asking for £4, somebody's asking for £5. Why you want to look for the £3? Yeah? Look for the one who's £5. If he's genuine, he's going to get £5 of good quality food. Let's say Class A dates, rotab, Class A lentil, Class A rice, basmati Class A. Okay. So go for the best. لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. You have to spend from what you love, from the best of your money. That's how it is. So here we find that Abdullah ibn Umar is to give the dates. You're allowed to give as well the corn, the corn, or the wheat. So the corn, the wheat, all of that. You're not allowed to give cucumber and tomatoes and all of this. Fine. Now, as for the money, am I allowed to pay Zakat al-Fitr into money? Correct opinion, Wallahu ta'ala a'lam, is that money is not allowed. And the reason behind this is plenty. First of all, we know at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, money was available already. Yet the Prophet ﷺ did not give money. The money was available. Okay, so to give the equivalence of Zakat al-Fitr, which is the £4 or the £5, into the hands of the poor person will not be sufficient. And this is the saying of Al-Imam Malik, Al-Imam Shafi'i, Al-Imam Ahmad. There's only one saying in the sayings of Imam Abu Hanifa, what he said, Maslahat al-Faqir. It's better to give it to the poor person according to his need. So if it's the money, we give him the money. We say as a refutation for this. Number one, Zakatul Fitri, ta'am, the food, is a symbol, sha'ira min sha'ir Islam. Just exactly like slaughtering the udhiyah in Eid al-Adha. I don't think anybody, even including those who follow the Hanafi madhab, would say it would be sufficient to give the price of that sheep to the poor person instead of slaughtering that animal on Eid al-Adha. I don't think so. We haven't reached to that level yet. Maybe they will. Fatawa is in the market now these days. It's a bad market. Anybody can really sort of shop any fatwa he likes. I remember one of the years when Turkey was under the secularist government, they made it permissible for the people in Eid al-Adha to slaughter not a sheep, not a camel, not a cow. No, chicken. SubhanAllah. So the fatwa is there. When you have people who have big saucepans on top of their heads, or I call them the tires, the big tires, just to show. They call it libas shuhra, the dress of fame. Why don't you dress it just like normal people? Why you want to put like that's satellite on top of your head? SubhanAllah. And then so people look at your mufti, and then he gives this disaster. And I was yesterday in refutation of Allah al-Musta'an, of one of those people who are mufti in our countries, which are saying now rice is no good to give to the people during Zakat al-Fitr. Rice is no good. He's saying it's not accepted. It's money. It's the opposite. Allah al-Musta'an. So what to say? What type of fatwa is this? I think it's called the fatwa. We call it in Arabic ما يطلبه المستمعون. This is a program that used to come on the radio when I was a kid. And still, which is ما يطلبه المستمعون, whatever the listener wants. Whatever the listener wants. So you call the radio station, it's a radio, and then you ask, I want a song, please, such and such song. They will give you that song and then play it for you. Another person will call, I want that song. So if you have more votes on that song, then they will play that song for you. Because at that time there was no CDs and all of this, and there's no tape recorders and all of this. So subhanallah. So this fatawa now, ما يطلبه المستمعون أو ما يطلبه المشاهدون. What the people want. I want this fatwa, please. Please make zakat al-fitr has to be money. خلاص, money for you, no problem. ما يطلبه المستمعون. That's what the people are doing these days. So we say that Imam Ahmad, for example, he said, لا تعطى قيمة, should not be given as in money. They said to him, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he gives it money. It's been said to him that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz gives it money. He said, they leave and abandon the saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the saying of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. And Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, of course, is much better than Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah. He's from the predecessors. So he said, they leave off the saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the saying of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, for verily, Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, the Prophet ﷺ commanded, made fard, zakat al-fitr to be paid in ta'am. So, giving zakat al-fitr in money, it will not suffice. It will not be accepted. And when it was said to Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, what do you say regarding Hajj tamattu' and mut'ah? He said, well, the Prophet ﷺ, he commanded us to make tamattu'. He said, well, Abu Bakr and Umar, they're saying there is no tamattu'. They don't do it. He said, the heavens is about to shower us with stones. The heavens, the skies, are about to send, instead of rain, rocks and stones. I say to you, Qala Rasulullah, Prophet of Allah commanded us and said so. And you telling me Abu Bakr and Umar? And of course, you know how highly ranked Abu Bakr and Umar. We take their sayings because the Prophet of Allah, he said, take iqtadiya billadayni min ba'di. Take as a role model for you and follow their opinion. That's Abu Bakr and Umar. Yet, when Abu Bakr and Umar, they do something, radiallahu anhuma, which is not being supported by the Prophet ﷺ, but is the opposite, we follow the Prophet of Allah. And that's what Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, we're about to be killed by Allah the Almighty. Allah is going to send us rocks to kill us. You're listening to Abu Bakr and Umar, you're leaving the Prophet ﷺ. It's not he degrading Abu Bakr and Umar. And that's what Imam Ahmad, he said, leaving the Prophet of Allah and going to Umar ibn Aziz. Umar ibn Aziz at his time, the people were so rich. So they are not in need of zakat al-fitr. In his time, the normal money zakah, which is being given to the 8 categories, all these 8 categories are being filled. Subhanallah. To such an extent that they have interpreted the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that there will be a Khalifa coming who will give the money in lots. They thought it's Umar ibn Aziz, but it's actually Al-Mahdi. To the extent that they tell the hadith of the Prophet of Allah, there will be a time that the person will come with his gold as zakah, knocking on the doors of the people. Take zakah, please. Oh, too late you are. If you came yesterday, would have taken it. Now we are rich. Give you zakah before that day comes in. They thought it was Umar ibn Aziz. So the all 8 categories, which is fuqara, masakin, aminin alayha, sabilillah, riqab, gharimin, all of those categories being filled. There's no poor people, there's no wayfarers, there is no reconciling or softening the heart, there is no people on debt, there is no way people who are travelers, there's no way who is making jihad to give zakah for. So it's being filled. Rightly so, he had to look for something else. So, for example, there's some narration that he used to give it to the people, zakah, normal zakah money, who wants to get married, to help them to get married. Subhanallah. So we say zakatul fitri, we could see it here from the ahadith, is to be given food. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. And that is the Prophet ﷺ saying, and he was able to give money. And he was able to command the people to give money. So just like we don't give money instead of the sacrificial on Eid al-Adha, we don't give money on Eid al-Fitr instead of food. The food is a very important thing. Now, when do we give zakat al-fitr? We give zakat al-fitr Uh, first of all, the quantity of Sadaqat al-Fitr. The quantity of Sadaqat al-Fitr is sa'. It's a volume. Sa'. On the sa' is 4 handful, like this. Not widely open, not wide closed, like that. And it's the normal size hand. The Hashemite hand at that time. And if you do that, this from the rice, it's about 2.5 kilos. You will not go beyond 3 kilos, 2.5 kilos, most of them. So you give 2.5 kilos. So if you say sa', so if you have a family of 10 people, so you're going to give 10 sa', including you and your children, your wife, and maybe your mother and your father with you. 10 people, let's say, 10 sa'. 10 multiplied by, as I said, as to be on the safe side, 3 kilos, that's 30 kilos. So you give 30 kilos. Now, I gave money to a charity and then they will, no problem. So if you gave money, the equivalence of what they said, to buy that, and you trust them in terms of not being a thief, and you trust them that they are knowledgeable, and I'll tell you how you trust them to be knowledgeable, then sadaqah, they have this sadaqat al-fitr. That money will not go in the hands of the poor people as in money. They will purchase the right food and they will give it to the poor person. Now you could give sadaqat al-fitr of 10 people to one poor person, or even 50 people to one poor person. Or if you have less sadaqat al-fitr, you could give the sadaqat al-fitr of 10 people to 3-4 poor people, depending upon how much you've got. So it doesn't mean that one sadaqat al-fitr here from one person or one family goes to one poor person. No. So it's based upon what the person who is distributing the sadaqat al-fitr, what he thinks is the best to give, how much for each person. So if you gave the money, okay, to the charity, you need to make sure that they are trustworthy, not thieves, and most of them, they are not thieves, inshallah. But number 2, they are knowledgeable, and this is where charities, they fall down, they fail. How do I know? When they lump, they say, well, just give us money, and it's one account. Sadaqat al-Fitr goes in, Zakat goes in, building for the masjid goes in, digging wells in the Africa goes in, just at the same time, and they don't really care. Don't give them. Not a single penny. Now, these people, they don't know what they're doing. They just open charities. And I'm sorry to say, charities now, it is the best thriving business. Is you just sit on the chair and receive money. That's what the business is. And then the head of the charity, he receives a salary more than a doctor who spent, okay, I don't know how many years in the university to graduate as a doctor and to work from the morning until the evening. He will not get his salary. They get 100K plus a year. SubhanAllah. Let me leave my studies now and go for charities, and I'll be better off than giving talks. Of course not. But I'm just saying, that is what some people are doing these days. And if you have a name, inshallah, people will pay for you. Blind eye. We should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ikhwani. Wallahi, we should fear Allah azza wa jal. Each pound that you're going to have, whether you take it or you spend it, you're going to be asked, where did you spend it and how you gained it? Each one. So make sure that you take your money in halal and you spend it in halal. طيب, Sadaqat al-Fitr. When do we give it? There is 2 times for it. One time, which is the best of the times, and that is after the night starts, which is sunset of the last day, after tomorrow. And the best of the best for that is between Fajr and Salat al-Eid. So we have, this is the first time, which is divided into 2 categories. The first time, which is the best time. Best of the best time, which is after the sunset. So the good time. But to give it the best of the best is between Salat al-Fajr, after Salat al-Fajr, and Salat al-Eid, in that time. Because the poor people are closer to their Eid, so they could make them to rejoice and be happy and see. And that is why when we go to the Musallayat in our countries, Muslim countries, we find the poor people are waiting before the Salah. And the Imam would delay the Salah so that the poor people will get their Zakat. They will be happy. They will see sacks of rice and sacks of whatever, and they've got it. They will take it home and they will come and participate with us. And that's what it is. أغنوهم في ذلك اليوم عن الطواف. Make them to be rich rather than to go and beg people for the food. So we give them Zakat al-Fitr between that. But as I said, this is the best of the times. And sometimes, as distributors like us, when we distribute, for example, the ones with the charity, they distribute, will not be enough for them that time, especially they've got thousands of people to give, hundreds of families. So we give in the second time, which is the permissible time. وقت الإجزاء. يا أخوان, the videos which are on, please put them off. Co-host. طيب. So the second time, which is the time of being sufficient, and that is before the day of Eid by a day or two. So you could give it tomorrow, before Maghrib, today as well, okay? And even yet yesterday, because if we don't know if Eid is going to be tomorrow or not, we knew now, but before that, so we could give from yesterday, okay? So you could give from yesterday. So to yesterday, we will give, which is the 28th day, which is from the 20th night as well, 29th night, 28th day. We got more days to give to the poor people, because as I said, when you have lots of people, it's impossible for you to give the poor people just before Salat al-Fajr and just before Salat al-Eid, between Salat al-Fajr and Salat al-Eid. Now let's say that you've delayed it. If you delayed it deliberately and you waited for a long time, you still have to pay it, even after Salat al-Eid, but you'll be sinned. You'll be sinned, and it will be considered as a normal zakah, normal sadaqah. But you have to give it. You can't just say it's been gone. It's not like the Salah. If you deliberately push it away, there is no compensation for it. You have to repent to Allah and pray voluntarily. But this one, you have to pay it, but you'll be sinned, and it will not be zakat al-fitr. It will be normal zakah, but you have to pay it. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man addaha qabla as-salah," he who does give it before the Salat al-Eid, فهي زكاة مقبولة. It is sadaqat al-fitr, which is maqbula, accepted. ومن أداها بعد الصلاة, if he gives it after the salah, then sadaqah min as-sadaqat. It is a sadaqah min as-sadaqat. It is just a normal sadaqah, but you have to give it, and with a sin. So we say to the person, please, do not wait until the last moments, especially in a country like here, where there's no poor people. And we tell the brothers as well, make sure, ya akhi, give it, the masajid who collect money, you cannot just before Salat al-Eid, during the khutbah al-Eid, I could see people, Salat al-Eid, just before the Salah, and the people, they say takbir, and before the Imam gives the Salah, they bring the pot to take the money. Subhanallah. What are you doing? Where is the poor people? You're going to give it to them. So you're going to have this money, then you're going to transfer it into food, and then you're going to do that food to the poor people. There's no time, unless you're going to give it to a country where that country are going to have Salat al-Eid later on, maybe tomorrow, or later on after hours, maybe. But it has to be a country which lives in the west of you. Or a country that have their Eid the following day. But you can't collect like this and give, you say that you collect a sadaqat al-fitr. Wallahi, one day, I remember that, maybe more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago, talking about year 2005. Yes, something like this. I was about to make Salat al-Eid, and it was in the Royal Grammar School in High Wycombe. Wallahi, I'm about to make it. This person comes to me. Can I just talk to you? I said, I'm really pleased I'm going to do Salat al-Eid. Please, can you accept from me Sadaqat al-Fitr? I said, Subhanallah. What am I going to do? Put in a rocket and send it to Jordan, to a poor country, send it to Pakistan? I can't do anything. I cannot take it from anybody. He gave to me, just wanted to stop me from praying Salat al-Eid in order, to give Sadaqat al-Fitr. Because the people got used to this. They see Masajid doing that. Masjid has to stop doing this, Yahi. They have to stop it. And they have to tell the people, you want to pay normal Sadaqah before Sadaqat al-Eid? Yeah. But Zakat al-Fitr, you have to finish as a Masjid 2 days or a day before. He said, Khalas, we stop. We stay in Wise and High Wycombe. We stop about 3-4 days. We don't collect 4 days before because they have to have money to link the money to those people who are in those poor countries, and those poor countries are going to transfer that into food to the poor people. So it's not something easy, Ikhwani, especially when you have thousands of pounds. Now, we said to whom we give Sadaqat al-Fitr, alhamdulillah. So we have said that we give it to the poor person. We don't give it to the 8 categories of the zakah. We give it to the person who is fuqara, the one who cannot find the food of his day and night. If we can't find that one, then we give it to the one which is upgraded. Okay, so we go to the upgrade. We don't find one, we don't upgrade it. Still in the poor category. Can we transfer the Zakat al-Fitr to another country? If the country's got poor people, we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to. I myself, for example, if I want to give, I tell my family in Jordan, pay Zakat al-Fitr on my behalf, no problem. I'm Jordanian there and they do it for me. But to take Zakat al-Fitr of all the people of England, like this, the country, let's say Muslim country here, and they have poor people, to send it to another country, that's not correct. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he had said that it is to be given to those people of the place, so they could rejoice the Eid with the people, the community, their community, their own community. But if there is no poor people, like here, we don't have any poor people who are, they're going to accept for us, for example, they're going to accept rice. They don't really. If there is, we give them. If there isn't, we send it to those countries, wallahu ta'ala a'lam, by which, alhamdulillah, finish Zakat al-Fitr. And I could look at the time here. I want to talk about Salat al-Eid in details, but I don't have the time. I will go quickly Salat al-Eid. Salat al-Eid, it is according to the Malikiyya and the Shafi'iyya, it is Sunnah Mu'akkada. According to the Hanabila, it is a communal obligation. That means if one person, two people have done it, there will be no sin on the other communities. And the other opinion, which is the opinion of Al-Ahnaf, which is the correct opinion, Hanafiya, it is compulsory. That's what we believe. But other scholars, they take it communal obligation, but we believe it is compulsory because of the Prophet ﷺ, Hadith al-Atiyya, that he commanded us to bring with us, even not just the normal people who to come to participate in Salat al-Eid, the women who never came out of the house, al-mukhabba, the hidden, to come out. Even the menstruating women, they come and participate. They don't pray, but they participate in the Salah, in the festival, not to do the prayer. So we bring up the mukhabba, the virgins, they'll never come out of the houses. I'm talking about the days of the Prophet ﷺ. These days, there's no women inside the house, all of them out. Allah al-Musta'an. So this is a command. So that's the correct opinion, Hanafi. It is obligatory, compulsory. Compulsory, obligatory, alhamdulillah, don't miss the prayer. Now we know that from the COVID-19, we don't have musallat, and we should not have musallat. And we should not create musallat in our houses by inviting our relatives from other sides and come to participate, because I know Pakistani community, Somali community, Eritrea community, all these communities, they make their own musallat inside their houses. It's not correct, ya Akhwani. And I just sent a video to our GP, Dr. Asad, Jazallah Khairam, that still we can't really, tolerate for this pandemic to go and have another break. Ya Akhwani, khalas. And by the way, it's not from the Sunnah to specify the day of the Eid, to go and visit the people. Ya Akhi, the Eid is for you and your family. In our countries, we leave our family and go to and greet other families. Subhanallah. We leave our children. This is for the children, for our Eid. We give them the money, we give them, we give them the pleasure, Allahu. We are allowed to have the duf for the Eid. So make sure that they're enjoying the Eid. They have to bring them something that they could see it. So you could take them out, you could hire them a car, maybe whatever you want to go out and see. But to make Salat al-Eid and to make as well socializing is not right. For the pandemic, is not correct. And I'm not saying this because I'm afraid here I'm on TV now and Boris Johnson is going to be after me. It's not because of that. I'm just talking about from the religious side of you, which is supported and stemmed from the medical side of you. We should minimize that as much as we can. So we don't want to have Musalla, because I had a question about, I think yesterday or the day before, a person, he says, can I pray Salat al-Eid more than once to lead them? More than once? I said, what are you talking about? He said, I want to lead. I said, what are you praying? He said, in England. I said, how can you have? He said, well, I have lots of jama'ah. I said, you are Somali. He said to me, yes, I'm Somali. So lots of jama'ah, that his house is not enough. He wants to make more than Salat al-Eid. And because there's nobody to lead except for him, and he's the best, he wants to make Salat al-Eid once and then Salat al-Eid twice. It's like in the masajid where we have not enough space. Subhanallah. No, we should not do that. Specifying the Eid day for visiting the alive people is a bid'ah, just like it is specifying the Eid day for visiting the graves and the graveyard. Our Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, he had a call from our Shaykh Muhammad Musa Nasr rahimahullah, both of them died. And he said to them, we want to see you, Shaykh, me and such scholars, 3-4 scholars, to visit you, Shaykh. And it was the day of the Eid. The Shaykh asked, it's not for the Eid day. I know the Sheikh how he talks, rahmatullah. It's not because it's the Eid. He said, no, Sheikh, we had we want to see you, and there's something as well to do with. Just come. So it's like a normal visit, but not for the Eid. It's not the Eid visit. So what I'm saying to the brothers and the sisters, just like we are saying it is wrong to specify Eid al-Umm, Eid al-Ab, the day of the mother, the day of the father, because it's not correct. We should have all our days, the day of the father and their mother, and we say these are false Eids and false festivals. Same thing what we're doing to our Eid. To make it just, we only see each other when? That is, wedding, Eid, or death. Any other occasions? Only these 3 occasions. Other than that, we don't see each other. We don't come to visit one another like that. No, it has to be Eid, or wedding, or death. Somebody died, we come and see each other. Oh yes, and we meet one another. I haven't seen you for a long time. Allah musta'an. طيب. Salatul Eid. Tomorrow, it's going to be in the house, and you do it without khutbah. And the khutbah anyway, in the musallayat, it's not compulsory. It is for the imam to do it, but it's not compulsory to attend it. But in the house, it's not mashru'a, it's not legislated to do it in the house. It's only the salah. Because this hadith is being mentioned by Anas radiallahu anhu, where he did not attend the Salat al-Eid, and he commanded his servant to call for the prayer. And there is no call for the prayer, by the way. There's no adhan, there's no Salatul Jami'ah, all of that. But they made Salat al-Eid together with his family, and his family is huge, by the way, Anas radiallahu anhu. He himself, he had buried with his own hands 120 out of his offsprings, whether children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren, because he lived for more than 120 years, radiallahu anhu, because of the supplication of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you make it at home, 2 rak'ah. Sheikh al-Albani did not make khutbah, as some of the people did think. No, he did not. And there was a phone call between him and Sheikh al-Halabi. They did not make a khutbah. And Sheikh al-Halabi asked him about Salat al-Eid. So you make it. So any person, even without Salat al-Eid, even in the musalla, and somehow you overslept or something and you did not pray it, still you could pray it at home. Not talking just because of the COVID-19. Now, because the time here, lots of things that come into my mind regarding Salat al-Eid is how to pray it and all of this. I need to make sure that I don't really leave anything. Please take me in question time if I left something I need to emphasize. In terms of dress, perfume, ghusl, all of that sunnah. Still, even if you are doing it in the house. So have a ghusl, make sure that you put the best of the clothes. That's for your family to look at. Your children as well, the best of the clothes, the best of perfume, yourself and children. Also the takbir. The takbir starts after the fajr. So once the fajr starts, you make takbir. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Walillahi alhamd. And you could do the last one with Allahu Akbar 3 times. So 3 times. Or Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar kabira. And that's even more authentic. Or Allahu Akbar kabira, Allahu Akbar wa ajal, Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. That's the 3rd one, and that's authentic as well. More than Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, which is Hadith Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, which is not authentic as much as these 2. But the people, they know the 3rd one, they don't know, so the 1st one, they don't know the other 2. And to make sure that as well, that you take tamr, dates, to break your fast. So as soon as you pray your fajr, make sure that you eat the dates. So these dates, you eat them, and this is where the sunnah is to eat them in witr. Okay, so this is, the witr, by the way, is in this. There's no witr. For example, when you break your fast now, there's no such thing, you make them odd. Witr is odd. So on the witr, brothers, the videos are on your brothers. So the witr is only, okay, for this occasion. 1, 3 dates, 5 dates. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Now when you finish the prayer, you say, تقبل الله منا ومنكم. تقبل الله منا ومنكم. That is, may Allah accept your ta'ah. This is the saying. تقبل الله منا ومنكم صالح الأعمال. For example, may Allah accept, you can say it in English. May Allah accept from me, May Allah, don't say God, may Allah accept from me and you the good deeds. Okay? There is no such thing that you shake the hands of, because you are together, you are the family. So you are together and you, with your wife, you just wake up from the bed and then you start shaking each other hand. That's not from the Sunnah. But this is تقبل الله منا ومنكم تقبل الله منا ومنكم. No shaking of the hands. Shaking of the hands if you go out and you came in. طيب. Now in terms of going from one place to and returning from another place, that's only when you go to the musalla. So there is no such thing if you come to your musalla in the house, the room, you go from the side of the kitchen and then you return from the side of the bedroom. That's not applicable here. Of course, your musalla, which is in your house, should be clean, should be scented, perfumed, incense there, mashallah, nice, smelly, clean and hoovered. That's your musalla. Just like you're keen about making your office nice and clean, you make your musalla clean as well. Also, Salat al-Eid itself, okay, there is no, we said adhan, there is no iqama. We start with Takbirat al-Ihram, Allahu Akbar. Then we put that on the left. And then we say Dua al-Istiftah, Subhanak Allah bihamdik, or Wajjahtu wajhi liladhi fatara as-samawat. Whatever. Then after that, you make takbirat. So the Takbirat al-Eid as follows. When narrations, 7 takbirat in the first and 5 takbirat in the second rak'ah. One narration says it is 4 takbirat in the first rak'ah and 4 takbirat in the second rak'ah. 4. And this is authentic as well. I'm telling you just only the authentic. So the 7, now some of the scholars said even the 7, they are including Takbirat al-Ihram. So you would do 1 Takbirat al-Ihram and 6 after that. And the second rak'ah is 1 which is getting up and 5 after that. Okay. So the takbirat, alhamdulillah, it is spacious. We don't limit them. 4, 5, 7, 5, 6, 5. Okay. But the most authentic sunnah, the most narrated, is 7 after Takbirat al-Ihram and 5 after Takbirah of going up. So, what do I say and do I raise my hand? I do not raise my hands because there is no narrations. Even the Athar of Abdullah ibn Umar is not authentic. If it has been authenticated to some of the scholars, you might take it, but it is not authentic. So there is no narration from the Prophet of Allah, he raised up his hands. Only Takbirat al-Ihram. Then you say, Allahu Akbar. Now, before you say the second one, there is a narration from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, which is authentic. That we say, Alhamdulillah, or Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, and a dua. So, Hamdun wa thana'un ala Allah, praising Allah, and passing salutation upon His Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And thirdly, dua, wa yad'u. So, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, Allahumma a'tiq riqabana min an-nar, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Then another Allahu Akbar. So it's not just counting Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So many imams, they do that. Give a gap, yakhi. Make a gap. So now teach yourself. Allahu Akbar. Then Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursaleen. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة في الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Allahu Akbar. That's how it is. Then you start with the Fatiha. And then after the Fatiha, سبح اسم ربك الأعلى. Second rak'ah, you start with takbirah, which is when you get up. Then 5 takbirats. Same thing. Alhamdulillah, praise Allah. Passing salutation upon the Prophet. And then after that, making the dua. 5 takbirat. And then al-Fatiha and هل أتاك حديث الغاشية. Now, of course, there is another narration where the Prophet ﷺ recited in the first rak'ah, that is Surah اقتربت الساعة القمر, Surah الثانية, second rak'ah, قاف والقرآن المجيد. Surah قاف. طيب. So we know الحمد لله, سبح اسم ربك الأعلى, هل أتاك حديث الغاشية, or سبح اسم ربك الأعلى, Surah قاف, or اقتربت الساعة, and Surah Qaf. All of those have been narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I think I need to give you more time because we have going to finish inshallah today by 8:45. So you've got about 18 minutes for the questions and the answers. Please, Jazakumullah khairan, make sure that you adhere to the instructions of the brothers or the co-host. We give priority, inshallah, for those who are from Northampton. The people from Northampton, if you do have your Northampton name with you, it would be better if you put your name as Northampton. If you can't do it, just if you are from Northampton, put your hands up. Just like these people putting their hands. So I believe that KC Muhammad Suhaib is from Northampton. We'll ask him. If he's not from Northampton, please don't put your hands up. Okay? So if you are from Northampton, please put your hands up and we'll ask you. And also, if there's Hassan as well there, got the priority for the questions from the sisters for those who are from Northampton. Trouble.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, just for the people who are going to be raising their hands, please do not touch the microphone. One of our co-hosts will control the microphone. Just leave it as it is, and please do not block it on your end. Sometimes we can't unblock it because you've blocked it on your side, and we'll waste time. So if you're from Northampton, please raise your hands if you have a question. Oh, shall I ask from the panel? But it doesn't say Northampton, Sheikh.
Sheikh, you muted.
I did not mute myself. It muted by itself. I did not do anything. I'm too far from the speaker. I don't know why.
Okay.
There's somebody, yes. Now he's putting his hand. Ibrahim.
Ibrahim, تفضل.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam, tabaraka.
I'm
Northampton?
Yes, from Northampton.
Yes.
Concerning the takbiras, after takbiratul ihram, is it 7 takbiras or 6? Because I heard from even other sheikh, they are both there. So
yeah, I explained to you. Al-amru wasa', it is spacious for this. The most beloved to me is 7 without takbirat al-ihram. And this is opinion of our Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah and so many other scholars. 7, that is save takbirat al-ihram. Okay? 7. But if you want to do 6, no problem. Is that a question?
Okay. No, thank you.
Jazakallah. Next, please. No hands. Go for the panel. Related question.
Okay. Is it permissible to call others on the phone to say Eid Mubarak, or is that a bid'ah like visiting them in their houses?
It is not a bid'ah to say to a person Eid Mubarak, because we say to the people according to what we, so for example, like for my friend, تقبل الله منا منكم الطاعات, no problem. No problem, inshallah. So this is the Al-Amru Wasa', no problem, inshallah. This is congratulations. You are happy with the Eid and you're making happy the Eid, everybody happy with the Eid. That's the Eid, to make sure that you are توسع على أهلك, to make sure that you are giving more money. Now this is the children's opportunity to say to their fathers and yalla, more money now. Okay, give us. Now.
Okay. I have only my son who is 12 and mother. Should I still pray Eid?
Very good question, Aslium. What is the minimum jama'ah for Salat al-Eid? Minimum jama'ah is 2. The Imam and the one who's listening. And you can pray on your own. So Salat al-Eid is to be prayed even if you're on your own. So no problem about that. So the question was who is there? Yeah, sure.
So it's a 12-year-old child and mother.
Okay, the 12-year-old child, if he can lead the prayer, then you would lead the prayer. If he can't lead the prayer, then the mother would lead the prayer, but she will be behind him. She will lead behind him and he will be in the front. Now, if is a female or a male child?
It doesn't say.
So,
no, sorry. It says son. Sorry. It says I have only my son. Yeah, no.
If it's a male, then he will be in front of her. She will be behind, and she will lead from the behind. But inshallah, he's old enough to lead. Inshallah, just the Fatiha and Qul Huwallahu Ahad if you can.
Okay. All right. So
Zahid, for people to admit, yeah, Zahid, just watch now.
Okay. My father is elderly. He's stuck in his ways in terms of following the Hanafi madhab. On Eid day, I have to lead the Salah while he's praying behind me, even though I practice 7 + 5. Can I do 3 and 3?
Yes, you can do. As I said, it's regarding the takbirat, no problem. So you're talking about the quantity of takbirat?
Yes.
No problem. Hanafi, they do 3-3, yes. But it's not, the authentic is 4 and 4. Now.
Okay, we haven't got related questions, so we can get people to put their hands up if inshallah, anyone from anywhere. Okay, a wife is asking the ruling on her husband is delaying Salah a bit because he won't. Oh no, sorry, it's unrelated, so I won't ask that.
Okay, now go to the people from the.
Okay, KC Mohammed, please.
He's,
Assalamu alaikum.
yeah, he.
No, sorry, KC Mohammed, you there?
Yes, brother, I am.
Fadda, what's your question?
Yeah. Sheikh, you know, when I do my wuzu, if I don't dry myself, is it true when I'm praying Salah, the droplets of water are like sins falling from me? Jazakallah khairan.
Whether you dry them or you don't dry them, the sin's going to come out. This is not the sunnah to say that you should not dry up yourself, or the sunnah to say is to dry yourself. For very, the Prophet ﷺ is being narrated that he dried himself sometimes, and sometimes he's been given him the towel and he just said, I don't want it. So sometimes he would not dry himself, and sometimes, so it doesn't really mean that if you dried yourself, you're going to lose the loss of the sins because it drops. Now,
Abdullah, please. Abdullah?
Can you hear me, Sheikh?
yes.
Regarding Tarawih, Sheikh, is there any minimum or maximum for Tarawih after Ramadan that we can do? I mean,
There's no Taraweeh after Ramadan. It's called Witr. Taraweeh is because of Jama'ah. Now Witr.
yeah, but yourself, I mean, at home.
Yeah. The Witr is still the same as the Taraweeh. Whatever you used to pray. So for example, you used to pray, I mean, this is a booster for you now for Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. So if you keep doing the 11, khalas, mashallah, you've been doing 11 Ramadan, continue doing 11, but not in a Jama'ah. You could pray on your own and your family caught up with you, no problem. But not to prepare them to do Jama'ah beforehand, if you understand.
Is there any maximum or minimum regarding this?
Yeah, it's still the same as Rawiyah, 11 rak'ah.
No, I meant it's like 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, every day. It's up to you.
There's no, after Ramadan is the whole year, ya Abdullah, Allah barik feek.
Okay. Shukran, Sheikh.
So it's your witr, you know, Taraweeh is a witr. So in Ramadan, it transferred from the name witr to Taraweeh because it's longer prayer and you're relaxing and Jama'ah and all of that. But still your witr is all year round, ya Habib. Jazakallahu khayra.
Shukran, Sheikh.
Abu Ibrahim, please. Just a quick reminder, please don't block the mics on your end because we're having difficulty. So Abu Ibrahim.
He's blocking.
Yeah, so Hashim then, please.
He's blocking.
Okay, so I'm going to go to unrelated questions, Sheikh.
Yeah. Because
if I've lost something
brothers Hashim and Abu Ibrahim, if you don't unblock your thing, we can't unmute you. Now.
Okay, so if I have lost something in the masjid, what should I do if I'm not allowed to announce it?
If
I've lost something in the masjid, what should I do if I'm not allowed to announce it?
You go to the Imam and tell him, because the Imam, we will have lost property inside his office somewhere. And you're not allowed to say to the people, oh, people who found this and all this. Okay? Tell the Imam, inshallah, the authorities. Now.
What are Illiyin?
Hashim or Abu Ibrahim? Abu Ibrahim?
Abu Ibrahim.
Now.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, Abu Ibrahim.
The question about visiting friends and families outside of the pandemic, is that still the same? So we can't visit. So if you was to visit friends generally on Eid Day.
You can't visit friends even with this pandemic rules. Do you understand that?
No, outside the pandemic.
Outside the pandemic. Oh.
Yeah, so if you was to see your friends generally.
Generally, if you see your friends, not normal, just because of the Eid, no problem. Generally, you see your friends. That's your friends all the time. You see them, but specifying that, because we know that as if you are from a background of Asian, or you know for a fact that we specify the Eid day for cousins and great cousins and second cousin, third cousin. True or not?
No.
So if it's normal, no problem. Sure. I'm not saying don't visit your friends if you've been paying to visit your friends. Don't go to the opposite extreme now. Nah.
Exactly.
A wife is asking the ruling on her husband is delaying Salah a bit because he wants to kiss her. They just got married. They pray within the time.
So he wants to what?
A wife is asking the ruling on her husband is delaying the salah a bit because he wants to kiss her. They just got married.
I don't understand. I mean, this question is really funny for me. Delay the salah for going to kiss her. What type of kiss is going to delay?
Allahu A'lam.
This is no Allah al-Musta'an. This is a funny question, ya Ikhwani. Wallahi. So I'm going to kiss is going to delay the salah. This is Allah al-Musta'an. Yani this is waswasa. This is waswasa.
SubhanAllah. What are Illiyin and Sijjin?
Illiyin above, Sijjin down.
Okay, can we go to Majid Muslim, please?
Yalla ya Majid. Yalla ya Majid.
Assalamu alaikum. It's just regarding the zakat or sadaqah al-fitr food substitution for barley. Could that be flour, rice, or?
Yeah, barley, as I said, you could give it in Somalia. Because barley, they love it in Somalia. You could give it as well in some areas in Jordan. They love it. But I'm saying some countries, they don't. The people there, they throw the barley. They give it to the animals. Do you understand?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And this,
no.
so there is a price difference between flour and rice. Rice is expensive than flour, so it doesn't matter as long as it's a food substitution and it fulfills the sa. It
fulfills the sa, yeah. But لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. Remember that.
Jazakallah.
Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, even in his slaughtering for his hadi, he does not slaughter a sheep. Which we slaughter a sheep, he slaughters a camel.
Okay.
He wants to go for the best. Now.
Okay. Sheikh, regarding Zakat al-Fitr, I'm sending it back home and it has been given as money. Is that okay?
No. If it's given as money to the poor person, no, you have to do it again, quickly. Ask somebody else to give food to the poor people. Now.
Okay. My daughter is 18 months old, but she has savings over the nisab. Does she have to pay zakat?
Zakat is not tied up with 18 years old. This is an English law.
Oh, sorry, 18 months. It's a baby, I think, Sheikh.
Oh, you meant it from 18 months? That's a big difference.
Yeah.
But let me, alhamdulillah, maybe this mistake is Allah made it on your tongue so that I could really answer both questions.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, 18 years is not to do with the system of Islam. This is Western rule and it's not just. So if a person does a crime, if he's 17 years, 11 months, 29 days, then he will be called children crime, or they will be giving caution or something. But if he is 17 months and 17 years and he gone to the 18, just one day, the following day, if he made the crime the following day after 12 o'clock midnight, for example, he's in trouble. He's not going to get kosher, he's going to get prison. What sort of justice for that? For Islam, it is the puberty. Now, as for the zakah, there's two madhab. One, they said that there is zakah onto the children. And there's another, there's no zakah unless he is an adult. The one who says that there's a zakah on the children, there's a hadith which is not authentic. Hadith Aisha radiallahu anha, that the Prophet said, that is, invest in the money of the orphans, the young ones, before the zakah eats it and finishes it. That's not authentic. And there's no zakah, just like there's no salah on the children, there's no zakah on them as well. So the question again, she's got what? How many?
So she's 18 months old, but she has savings over the nisab. Does she have
so
to
that
pay
means people giving her gifts when she's young.
Yeah.
Or she's having saving for her in the bank, or she's been doing this investment that has been done before. Yeah. No zakah on it until she gets to the age of puberty. What is the age of puberty? 3 signs for the men. As for the women, one of the 4 signs. One of the 3 signs of the men, that is number 1, wet dream. Number 2, or pubic hair. Number 3, or reached 15 years old. The same signs for the women, but they add the women menstruation. Now,
someone wants to know, how comes the money is allowed for normal zakah and not zakat al-fitr?
How come is the normal money is allowed for the normal zakah, but it's not allowed for zakat al-fitr? We're going to ask you the same question. How come is the money is not allowed for the qurbani? Now, zakat al-fitr, you give 4 pounds, okay? 4 pounds, 5 pounds. How much is the kharuf, the sheep? 100 pounds, 150, some of the countries 200 pounds. Now, which is more money and better for the poor person? To give him 5 pounds or 200 pounds? 200 pounds, of course. Yet you're not allowed to give him 200 pounds. You have to slaughter. Same thing here, you have to give food. Okay? So this, when you make it like that onto the deen, and you're judging the deen with your mentality, you're going to end up in trouble. Prophet of Allah, he had money at that time. He had zakah. If he told his uncle, give your zakah of money for 2 years advance. Yet he did not tell them to give money for zakat al-fitr. Subhanallah. This is Sharia. Can't say why. But I'm giving you something which is logic. Why don't you as well? There's no qurbani, ya akhi, khalas. Give 200 pounds to the poor people. Will you loving it? We will not just forget about zakat al-fitr 5 pounds. This is 200 pounds for each person, individual, or even for the hadi. Hadi, now not each family, it's each one. The hujjaj. So now, how much money they're going to give? Millions of pounds. Poor people will be happy. They don't want to know but we have to make the hadi. The slaughtering. Now.
Was Sheikh Abu Ishaq al-Huwaini a student of Sheikh al-Albani, rahimahullah?
In terms of a student of Sheikh al-Albani, as in he was with him, he met the Sheikh al-Albani in few times because he lives in a different country, but he was taught, and he taught himself onto the books of Sheikh al-Albani. So any person who teaches himself onto the books of Sheikh al-Albani is considered to be a student of Sheikh al-Albani. As in, he met the Sheikh al-Albani? No, I met the Sheikh al-Albani much more than Sheikh Abu Ishaq al-Huwaini, rahmatullahi, habibahullah. But I'm just saying, he's more knowledgeable, of course, but I'm just saying that lots of people attribute themselves to be the student of Sheikh al-Albani, and they hardly met him, maybe once, or even haven't met him at all. But they say Shaykhuna, because he had learned onto his book, he had adopted the criterion by which he gives his fiqh approach to the matters and all of that. Okay, Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Right, last question, please. It's 44 now.
Okay.
Can I ask the question to our brother? If you put your hands, Sheikh Ishaq, al-Imam. أين يدك يا شيخ إسحاق؟ غير موجود الشيخ إسحاق. طيب ممكن ما يقدر يرفع يده. طب أحد أيوه موجود. يا
فيك unmute زاهد.
ممكن unmute yourself because يا شيخ أنت مسكر على نفسك. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself يا IA علي إسحاق. لازم تضغط عندك على الانميوت. مشكلة في التكنولوجيا. ما نستطيع نعمل لك انميوت والله ما نستطيع. والله ما نستطيع. You blocked us.
Yeah, he's blocked. Oh, he's done it now.
Now he's unblocked. أيوة يا شيخ إسحاق.
مرحبا يا شيخ.
التكنولوجيا صفر أنت صفر.
على صفر يا شيخ حقيقة.
الله أكبر. طيب عندك أي شيء ملاحظة كذا نختم بك إن شاء الله؟
لا خلاص شيخ إن شاء الله كل شيء جميل الحمد لله. الحمد لله.
طيب. The Sheikh is this is the Imam of one of the Imams. We have got 3 Imams for the Haram in Northampton, mashallah.
4 Imams.
4 Imams, sorry. 4 Imams, even like the Haram exactly. Northampton, mashallah, tabarakallah. Good brothers there, mashallah, tabarakallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. And this is the last night for I've got no classes now. Tomorrow, there's no classes. The day after tomorrow, there's no classes. Monday, there's no classes. We start on Tuesday, inshallah, for Brixton people, brothers. For that, we say, may Allah Azza wa Jal accept our fast, and accept our qiyam, and accept our recitation of the Quran. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا.
جزاكم الله خيرا فضيلة الشيخ.